developers, my name is Tyler Pods and it is day 5 of 31 days, 31 videos. So in this video we're going to be creating this movie database over here. As you can see, it's just simple movie database for search bar. In here we can search for any movie we like. It's using the IMDb or the Open Movie Database API, and we're going to say in here, what's a good movie? Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball, so we're going to search for Dragon Ball. There we go, we've searched for Dragon Ball and we get all the results back. So we have Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball C, all the good Dragon Balls, even Dragon Ball Super, you know, all the best ones. So we can actually click on one of these. So let's say Dragon Ball Super, for instance, and it will give us the name, it will give us the date it was made in, and it will also give us a rating plus blurb with a little poster image for it and a close button to close that off afterwards. We can then select another one, let's say Dragon Ball C, and we can see that stats there. We could pull more information and display this a lot better, but for the sake of just showing you how to set this all up and show you this video, it's probably not worth it. It's just going to be doing the same thing over and over again. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay guys, so I've opened up a terminal, and in here I am gonna say it's one of my recents. So it's npm init react app, and then whatever name you want to call it at all. I'm using npx, or you can use npx create react app or any of those, and this will create you a boilerplate for React. I assume you already know how to do this because I've showed it enough videos before. If you haven't, go check out one of my previous videos, or go check out the documentation for React, because it's absolutely amazing. So guys, without further ado, I'm going to click enter, and it's going to create us a new boilerplate. It takes a good few minutes sometimes it does in a few seconds. It depends how my computer's feeling. But yeah, so this, I'm not going to go over all this setting up. I want you guys to set up yourself because I've already done this many times. So let's get started. Okay guys, so that took about 7 minutes, probably a bit longer to be honest, to actually sort all that, which is pretty insane for time wise. But without further ado, it's started. So now what we need to do is cd into our project, so movie db, and then we're going to say, for starters, we're actually going to install something called Axios, and that's how we're going to make the request to the API. So I'm going to say npm I Axios and just hit enter, and that's going to install Axios for us. I'll show you how to use that once we actually get into the project. So this should take a few seconds, and then we'll be back with it. Okay guys, that's installed. So now we're going to basically open our project. So I'm going to say code dot, and that is going to open up my project in VS Code. If you don't have your code installed or VS Code installed with the path module installed, you can't do that. So you'd have to open it manually, or open it in another text editor. Okay guys, so we're in here. So now we need to start our server. So I'm going to press Control Alt Tab or T, sorry, and that is going to open up my integrated terminal. Inside my integrated terminal, I'm going to write npm start, and that's going to run my server. So my server will now start running. Yep, there we go, started server. As you can see, it's going to start refreshing that page for us because it will automatically refresh every time we update the files inside of source. So starting the development server, it will take a second. So while we're waiting, we're going to go in here and we're going to delete a few of these assets. I like to keep everything in one CSS file when it's only a small app. If it was a bigger app, then I would split it up component based. But for now, because it's just a small app, I'm going to keep it all in index CSS. I'm going to remove the logo.svg, set up tests, and then I'm going to go into index, and I'm not going to do anything in index, sorry. I need to go into app.js. I'm going to remove app CSS and logo and hit save, and it says logo is not defined because it's defined here. So we're going to remove everything inside the header and replace it with a h1, which is going to say, well, whatever you want, but for mine it's going to say movie database. There we go. And I'm going to remove the class off the header because it annoys me because I only ever have one instance of header, and I just want to target that one. Anyway, so that is done. I'm going to close the integrated terminal so we have more space to see here. And this is what we started with. So perfect. So we have one component and some disgusting stuff in there. So that is part one. So I'm going to style up what we've just done already. So I'm going to add in some few resets. So I'm going to say margin. Sorry, I best show you what this looks like. This is what it looks like currently. Oh, hello. This is what it looks like currently, the movie database, and yeah, so we need to style this up to make it look a bit better. So we're going to say margin, no, not you, margin. We're going to set it equal to 0, we're going to set the padding equal to 0, and I'm going to say box sizing, border box. I'm not going to explain any CSS I do unless it's really relevant to the functionality, only because this isn't a CSS tutorial. But at the same time, I like to show the CSS so you know why something's styling like how it is, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to say background color, and I'm going to give this a 223343 color. It's nice, it's like a really nice navy blue. So if we go back, you'll see it's now got this nice navy blue in the background. We're then going to go and style the header. The header is going to have a padding of 50 pixels, 15 pixels, and 0 pixels. We're then going to get the header H1, and we're going to say color is going to be equal to white, because it will contrast on the dark blue background. I'm going to set the font size equal to 48 of your finest pixels, and the font weight, did I say font weight? Font size, font weight. The font weight will be 500 because I like it nice, not bold, but more of a medium sort of. And we're going to text align this center because, you know, center text is life. I don't know. And there you go. So this is what we're looking with right now. So that's good. That is the first part of our app done. We then need to move on to the next section. So let's go back into app.js, and in apps under main, we're going under header, we're going to add a main tag, and this main tag is going to hold all the rest of our app. We're now going to create 3 components. We're going to create the search bar component. We're then going to create the results component, and finally we're going to create a pop-up component which opens up the detail view. You can name these whatever you want, but I'm going to name them those. So to get started, so let's actually create the search component, and then we'll style it up, and then we'll add some functionality to it to start with. So we're going to create this called search. We're going to go up, so in our source, we're going to create a new file, and we're going to say components / and then I'm going to say search.js, hit enter, and that's going to create us a folder with the search.js component in there. I have an extension called ES7 templating or something like that. I'll probably pull it in the description, but if I don't, just ask me in the comments. So it's called React. I'm going to say RFCE, which is going to create me a React functional component. And as you can see, that is actually using the React Redux GraphQL React Native snippets, and that is the extension it's called there. So let's hit enter, and as you can see, now we've got the search. And this is a functional component. I accidentally just deleted the search down there. That was stupid. So we've got a functional component right here, which is great. So we've got the start of our first component. And in here, we're going to remove these diffs, and we're going to use section because we're using HTML5 elements. It's 2020, and I like to use those things. We're going to give this a class name. We're going to set the class name equal to search box. And this is going to be our little search box wrapper. Search box wrap. We're going to have an input, and the input is going to be a type of text with the class of search box. And we're going to remove these two, and we're going to give this a placeholder equal to search for a movie. Again, do whatever you want with this, and we'll get the API. I'll show you how we use the API in a moment as well, and how you get your hands on an API key. So this is now the search. We now need to actually import that search bar. So we're going to say import search from, and we're going to say /component /search, and that is going to get us our React component. So now if we go back here, you'll see we've got a little search bar. How cute is that? Let's style it up because it looks ugly. No one likes an ugly search bar. So we're going to say under header, we're going to start off by styling the main, because we don't want the whole page to, we don't want the database to span the whole page. We're going to say about 960 pixels, like how old school style, quite small, but normally I'd go for something like 1600, but who cares? It's fine. Margin, we're going to then set every section to have a padding of 15 pixels, just to give it some spacing for any section we do. And then we're going to get the search box wrap. So we're just going to say search box. We don't actually need to style the search box wrap. It's just there to be a wrapper. So we're going to say display block. We're going to give it a width of 100%. We're going to give it a padding of 15 pixels. Oh, not 5. That's too small. 15 pixels. We're then going to reset some stuff. We don't want a border. We don't want any outline. and we don't want the background. I'm going to remove the background because sometimes I find on phones, if you don't remove the background, it will show like a gradient. It's weird. But then we're going to add in a background color of EEE. So we've removed the background, but we're adding in a default color of EEE. We're then going to set border radius to 8 pixels, just a nice subtle border radius, and then we're going to give it a color of 53565A, and we're going to say font size equal to 20 pixels, while the font weight is equal to 300 pixels. And then we're going to give it a transition of 0.4 ease out, just because this we're going to add in some a focus element to this. So if we go back to our search box, you can see it's here, but when we've clicked into it, you don't actually, there's no difference except from the cursor blinking. I don't like that. I like to make sure everything's accessible and easy to know what you're doing. So we're going to say focus. So when we actually focus it, we're going to add a box shadow equal to 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 8 pixels, 3 pixels, and then we'll give it a nice little green, I think, or maybe we should have blue. Maybe it should be 4484C4. Is that a nice blue? Let's see what that looks like. I did green before, but yeah, the blue's all right. I'll stick with the blue. I like the blue. So it goes with the blue. I added green before, but it didn't make sense, did it really? Because it's a blue background. Okay, so we've done the search box styling and we've done the search. So we're going to actually get some information now. So we actually want to set up first off, we want to get our API key. So I have an API key already, but I'm going to show you how you get yours. You need to go to OMDB API. There you go. There's mine. And we can just say here, and then you can click API key. So this is it. It's called the Open Movie Database. It's awesome. It pulls all stuff from like IMDb and stuff like that. As you can see, it uses IMDb IDs and all these sort of things. And you can do so many different searches, which is pretty cool. So if we go to API key, we can click the free. And what the free does, it gives you 1,000 daily limits. So Patreon means you would have to subscribe with the Patreon account. But whereas if you use the free one, you can have it for free, but you only get 1,000 requests per day. So obviously, if you wanted to actually use this in production, then you would need to get a Patreon, because you'd need to be able to use more than 1,000 per day, unless you're only expecting to get less than 1,000 per day. And then close your app when you've gone over 1,000. That'd be funny. Tickets sold out, sorry. Okay, so you'd put in your email, you put in your first name, last name, and what you're going to use for, click submit, and then it'll send you an email with your API key. It's actually just a URL with your API key on it, and that's perfect. So then you'll grab that URL. I'm going to close this now, and then you would bring it into, normally you'd probably pull it into a separate like config file, but for me, I'm going to go into app, and I'm just going to add it as a variable. Oh, sorry, let me sort my space out. So I've got tab sizing. I want to use those things. So we've got the API URL, perfect. And that's our API key, and this is basically just our base URL. So we need this to start off with anything. So that is good. After that, we basically want to actually search for something, but first we need to set up a handle input event. So our search, we need to actually listen for when we press the enter key, so when we actually submit. So if we go up here and we say, we'll go down one. We'll say const handle input. We're going to say equal to E, and we'll say so handle input. Sorry, we do need to do handle input foot, but this isn't the one where we select a key. This is the one where we will. So handle input is where we're going to actually handle our value when we type. So when we're typing, we're going to change. So we're going to say let s equal e dot target dot value, and that is going to get us. That is going to basically be our value. My syntax highlighting is like not working. I don't know why. We're then going to say we're going to actually create a state. So we're going to say up here, we're going to import something called useState, which is a functional component or functional hook. So we're going to say useState. We're going to bring that in from React, and down here we're going to say, why is this broken? It's really annoying me. Fix yourself. Wait, let me fix it. Oh, I forgot the arrow key bit. Of course, let s equal e dot target dot value. And then now we're going to basically say something such as, okay, so up here we want to go const, and we want to basically create a state. So we're going to say state, and then we're going to say set state. And these are the two functions we're pulling through from useState. So we're going to say useState, and then we're going to give this a default value. So inside here, we're going to have some default values. The first one being s, and what s is going to be our search query. So when we type, this is what it's going to be. We're going to pull it in there. We then also need our results, which is going to be an empty array. And then we need the selected. And what the selected is going to be an empty object, which is actually relating to our movie we clicked on to open up the pop-up. So now we've got our search. Now we're going to say set state. And we're going to set the state to we're going to get the previous state because we don't want to override the state. And what we're going to do is we're going to say return. And we're going to say here, ... prev state, and then ss. So basically what we're doing, we're getting the previous state, and then we're just changing the s value to the s we've created right here, which is perfect. Then we're just going to console.log state.s, hit save, and now we need to pass this as a parameter or as a prop down to our search function. So we're going to say HandleInput is equal to HandleInput, and we're going to pass that down to our search. So now we need to pull out that information, and normally you would say props up here, and you would say on change is equal to props dot HandleInput, which is alright, but I'm going to destructure this props, and I'm going to create a HandleInput here. So what we're doing here is by adding curly braces to either side of this, we're basically destructuring the parameter which is pulled through. So we're diving deeper through it. And now we don't have to use the props, we can just use HandleInput. So now it looks a bit cleaner. I'm going to break this down on separate lines, each section, just so it's all, oh, don't forget about that, just so it's a bit easier to read for you. So there we go. So we've got all that. We've got the on change which handles the input. So now if we go back to this and we open up a terminal, we'll just put that down there and we'll move this over slightly. Now, if I type in here, as you see, as I type, it saves that information. So if we type in here Tyler, it's actually only going to say tile because it's one behind the actual console log. We'd have to console log it like somewhere else in a different function for it to actually give us the whole one. But as you can see, it works pretty well. So as you can see, we get that information. It shows us what's been stored. So that is the HandleInput. Now we actually want to make a search request. So we've got the input. Let's remove the console log. We know we're storing something in S now, which is great. We now want to get the search. So I'm going to say we're going to say search. That's going to be our function. We're going to pass through again the event. And in the search, basically, we want to listen for a key. So we're going to say if e.key. We're going to search for a key, and we're going to say, is it equal to enter? And we need a triple there because that would make sense. So is it equal to enter? And now we need to do an Axios request. But to use Axios, we have to import it. So we're going to say import Axios from Axios. And that is going to bring in Axios. So we can now just say Axios. And then we're going to pass through the API URL. Then we're going to plus, and we need to concatenate a string here. So we're going to get the S. So this is how this S parameter stands for search. And that is how the Open Movie Database uses its API. So you need to use that parameter. And we need to say equal to our state.s, which is our search query. We're then going to use .then. We could use a promise here, but for now I'm not. I'm going to then, we can then pass through data. And after we've got the data, we can actually, so this actually will return, I'll show you why it returns actually. We'll console.log data. And then, so now we're going to see what data we get. So if we go back to, first we need to actually set this up on our search input, don't we? So we need to go down here, we need to say search is equal to search. And again, we need to go to our search prop and we need to put a comma and then say search. So that's going to grab our search property. Again, down here, we're going to say on key press, so when we press any key, we're going to run this function, but it's only actually going to run when we press the enter key because we've set it to check if it has the enter key, and we're going to search for search. So now back over here, we just want to say, let's open up a terminal as well, just so we have that, and let's say Batman, because Batman has some good moves. Hit enter, and as you can see, we get returned some data, but as you can see, it's nested from data into data. So there's two datas, and then we're going to go from data into search, and then that is what we're going to grab. So these are the values. So to start this, we're going to go back to our app. In our search function up here, we're going to destructure, again, this app, and we're going to say data. So we're nesting in one more further. We're going in one deeper and going to the data. And then we're going to say, let result equal data.search. And then we're going to say set state. So we're going to set the state again like we did before. We're going to say set previous state. And we're going to now say return previous state. And then we're going to update the results with result. So maybe we should say results, make it cleaner so it makes more sense. There we go. So now basically we're gonna get that, and I can't console log in here because if you console log in here, you're not actually gonna see the state because it's actually, again, it's like how the set state here works. It's actually one behind, and because we're only passing this all in once, we can only see it once, if that makes sense. So that's gonna store the information. So for us to see that, we actually need to create a new component then. So a results component, which is going to handle all of our results. Okay, so now what we're going to do is handle our results. So we need to create a new component again. So in components, we're going to say new file, and we're going to say it is going to be the results component. And in here, we're going to import, we're just going to say RFCE like we did before, and there you go, it's sorted for us already. So in here, we're actually going to bring through some things. So I'm going to destructure our props to be results, and we're also going to have an open pop-up, but we're not going to do that yet. We're then going to set this equal to a section.results. Okay, section, oh god damn it. Section with a class name equal to results. And then in here, we're going to map through our results. So we're going to say results.map, and then we're going to say result. Oh, we're not going to use those, we're going to use parentheses because that's how we use JSX, the templating engine. And we're going to say result is equal to result. And then we're going to end that there. So we're going to create a sub component inside this component to use that component. And does that make any component sense? Nope, it doesn't to me, but it's cleaner. Trust me, you don't want to write, if you want to use this singular component, again, you want to basically create a component for it. So we're going to do the same again. And in here, we're just going to have result. And this time inside results, we're going to pass through result again. We're going to leave it a diff, but we're going to give it a class name equal to result. And then in here, we're going to say image, and we don't DNO if we're not, this isn't going to production, so it's fine. We're then going to say result.poster. So I should actually show you the results. So I think we actually have it here. Oh, I cleared it, damn it. Well, I'll show you the results next time we come around to it. So we'll go in here, we'll say result.title. For some reason, they're all capitalized from this API, which is kind of annoying for me. I don't like it being capitalized, but I'm going to deal with it for now. So we're going to have this image, and we're going to have the results. And that's all it's going to display for this, which is fine. So let's save this, and we need to actually import result in this one. So we're going to say import result from /result, and that is going to store our result. In app, we now need to say, basically duplicate this and say results, and we'll say results. And now down here, under here, we can pass through results. We're going to say results is equal to results. God, I'm just saying the same words over and over again. And we're going to hit save. If we go back to, we have an error, that's fine. Results is not defined. Oh, sorry, it's state.results to pass through. And there we go, we now have this. So if we now type something in here, let's say Superman, hit enter, you see we get all the movies with a title to Superman up to 10 because it returns 10. And there you go. So we've got all these. We've got Superman, Batman, all these sort of things all added into this database. Perfect. So can we see the data? No, I didn't. Oh yeah, we also need a unique key prop. That's fine. We can sort that. Okay, so let's quickly fix that result issue here. So in results, we actually want to auto give it a key, which is equal to result.imdb ID. Back to our console, and as you can see, we no longer have that issue about the key prop being an issue. So that's cool. We got that down. So now we've also got this. Let's actually style this quickly because it's starting to annoy me that it's not styled. So after the search box focus, we're going to say results. It's going to be display flex. We're going to use flexbox. We're going to do something. We're going to flex wrap because we want it to wrap. We don't want them all to be squished on one line. And then we're going to say margin 0 pixels minus 15 pixels, just so we can have some spacing between. We're then going to say results dot result. And the result is going to have a width of 33.333333%. It probably doesn't need that many threes. We'll just do that. We're then going to say the min width is equal to 250 pixels, but the padding is equal to 15 pixels to match the padding we have here. We'll then go display flex, and we're going to have this as flex direction column. And then we're going to say pointer cursor because we want to be able to click it. Position, no, pointer cursor, and that is about right. We then want to go into our results. So we're going to say results.result image. We're going to display it as block with a width of 100%. We're then going to get the results.result or the h3, and then we're just going to say color is equal to FFF. The color is equal to FFF. The font size is going to be equal to 20 pixels. The font weight is equal to 600. The padding will be 10 pixels, and a background of equal to 445565. Oh, a nice little light. With a flex of 100%. And then we'll give it a transition here of 0.4 ease out. And then we're going to have a hover state on the whole result. So just copy that, paste that, and put hover. And then we're going to change the H3. And we're just going to say background color or background is equal to FFF. But the color is equal to 23. There we go. Save. And now, I think if we go back, you'll see it's all now styled out. Where's my cursor? Where is it? Where is she? Pointer cursor. Is that wrong? What is wrong there? Oh, it's... oh, I'm silly. There we go. Back here. There you go. Now we get the cursor we want. Perfect. So now we can hover over these. Which is exactly what we want. Oh, look, that's Best Lake Batman movie. Okay, so that is that styled. I'm going to actually add in the styling for the pop-up. So we've done everything we need. We now just need to open the pop-up. So I'm going to actually just add the styling in so we can get the styles out of the way. So we're going to set this to position fixed. We just want this to pop up over everything. We'll say top 0, left 0. We're going to give it a width of 100 VW and a height of 100 V height. And we'll give it a background color equal to 445565. Then we'll give it an overflow Y of scroll just in case. We're gonna have a pop-up content inside of that, and we're gonna display it as a block, and the block is going to have a width of 100%. It's going to have a max width of 960 pixels with a margin of 0 auto as we did before. We're then going to have some padding of 25 pixels. That's not right. Padding of 25 pixels, and then we're going to set everything inside of it to the color of white. We're then going to style the oh, what did I click? Oh, I clicked live share. Not today, thank you. I have no one to live share with because I'm lonely. Popup.content, and then we're going to set up the H2 in the oh, that's not right. We're going to set the color. Well, we don't need to set the color. We could just say font size 28 pixels. Font weight is going to be equal to 600. And then we're going to go into the same thing. We're going to get this again, but we're going to do the span inside of that, and we're just going to say font weight 300, font size 20 pixels. We're then going to get the popup.content.rating, and we're just going to give that a margin bottom of 30 pixels just to separate the content. We're then going to get the plot, which is going to be the actual plot of it. So we're going to say popup.content.plot. We'll say display flex, flex wrap, and then margin 0 pixels, minus 15 pixels, 30 pixels. And then we're going to get the popup.content.plot image. God, this is why I like using Sass. I find it a lot better. We're going to say 50%, but then we're going to say max width. The max width to be, what is it, 300 pixels? I think that's how big the image come through anyway. And then we'll say padding of 0 pixels, 15 pixels. We're then going to do the popup.content. .plot.p flex 50%. And a padding of 15 pixels again, just to match the padding we've added to the plot up there. And finally, we just want to set up a close button, which we're just going to say popup.content.close, and this is going to be equal to display inline block. We're going to give it padding of 15 pixels, 30 pixels, a font size of 18 pixels, font weight of 700. We'll set the background color equal to what, 44C484. I think that's a good color. We'll add some actual color to this, which is going to be this dark blue. We're then going to say border radius. We're going to set it probably to 8 pixels. Actually, we did this as a blue before, didn't we? So if we say, we'll set this to white, and I'm going to set this equal to 84C4 to make it a blue. Border radius, we're going to say border none. We'll say outline none. We're going to say appearance none. Oh, we're going to give it a cursor of pointer, not a pointer of cursor, and a transition of 0.4 seconds is out. Perfect. Oh, we need a hover effect, don't we? So popup.content.close. On hover, we're just going to say background. It's going to go to the dark blue. Perfect. Oh god, that was a lot, and I mean a lot of effort. So back to app now, and in the app, we've done the handle input, the search. We now need to do open popup, and that is going to be our popup thing. But first, well, actually not first, we're going to just say handle popup. So we're going to say const open popup is equal to a arrow function, which is going to bring through an ID. We don't need a parentheses there. And the ID we're going to use in our request again. So we need to make a second request to this API. So we're going to say API URL plus, and this time we're going to say and I, because we're going to use the ID to get us the information for this specific, what's it called? So we're going to destructure the data again, because actually no, it comes through weird. So we're going to say let result equal data. And this time we just need to say set state to with the previous state, set this into a return, which is going to return ... prev state. And this time we're only going to change the selected value to result. And that is all we need to do in the open popup, because we're going to make a check inside of our markup here to check if we have anything inside of our selected value. We're also going to set up a close popup. So here we're going to say const close popup, We're going to set this equal just to an arrow function, and the arrow function is going to say set state, and in here we're just going to say prev state, arrow function again, and then we're just going to return prev state like we've done before. We're going to say selected, but this time it's going to be equal to an empty object, which is perfect. And that is it. That is it for our functionality of this. So we need to create a new component, and the new component is going to be the popup. So a new file, we're going to call it pop. Why are you not selected in here? Popup.js. And in here we're going to say React functional component. Perfect. And now in here we're going to have a section tag. I'm going to need to put for class name equal to popup. We then have, I think it's .content. That never works. So we're going to say div class name is equal to content. And inside the content, we're going to have a h2. The h2 is basically going to bring through a selected .title, which we're going to get from that information. So up here, we need to destructure again. And this time we need to say selected. And we also need to say close popup. So they're the two we're going to bring through. So we've got that. Now we need a span. Oh, God. A span. And inside this span, we need parentheses and one which says selected.year. So we're going to get the year. Noise me when it's like that. There we go. Okay, so we've got the h2 in there. We have a p.rating, which we are going to just say rating. And then we're going to pass through the rate. So we're going to say selected.imdb rating. I'm then going to get the plot. Oh, it never works. Diff with a class name of equal to plot. And then I'm just going to say image. Image with a source which is equal to selected.poster. Again, it's all stuff we've done before, so does not really need to explain it. And then we're going to have just a p in here, which is going to say selected.plot. So if you remember the markup, we actually styled all this, or in the CSS, sorry. So that is why we're doing all this. And then we're going to say button.close. Of course, that's not going to work. Button with a class name of equal to close. And in here, we're just going to say close. We're then going to add a on-click event to this, which is going to be equal to close popup, which is the function we're going to pass through. So if we save this now and we go back to our app, we can actually import this. So we can say import popup from, and now we can say /component/popup, and down here. So now remember I said we're going to conditionally render this component, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to put in some templating strings. We're then going to put in here a ternary operator, and we're going to say type of state dot selected dot title is not equal to undefined. So if it's not equal to undefined, then we're going to show our popup. We're going to pass through the selected if equal to state dot selected. We're then going to pass through the close popup, and we're going to set here close popup. And then we're going to close that off, and then we're going to put this. So this means else, and else we're just going to return false. We don't want anything. And then we're going to close that. Oh, I actually don't need to be closed. There we go. So that now, so if I close this sidebar quickly, just so you can read it in one line, this basically just says if there is no title, if it's undefined, then we're not going to show the popup. So if it's not equal to undefined, we will show the popup. So that is pretty simple. We now need to actually pass through results a open popup. So we're going to say open popup is equal to open popup. We're then going to go into results, and we're going to bring open popup through. And then on this result, we're going to say on click is equal to open popup. Hit save. And if we now go back to our app and we search for something, let's find something else. What about Jurassic? And this should bring up Jurassic Park. If we click it, why is nothing happening? And click. let's try sending it through as open popup, and let's do it inside the result, because this is what I normally do. And we'll say on click, we'll say open popup, and we actually need to bring it through here. So we need to say open popup, hit save, come back, say Jurassic, we click it, and nothing is happening. Why is nothing happening? Did we miss something in our open popup? For starters, let's check if this is working. So we're going to say console.log result. So we're saying selected equal to the result, which seems like it should work. What else have we done? So we've done the popup is all sorted. Oh, is it popup? Nope, that's correct. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's go back in here and let's now search something like Batman's easier to write. Batman, let's click it. Response false, incorrect IMDb ID. Well, did we write something wrong? Oh, that's my bad. In popup, no, not in popup, in result, where we've got the on click, we actually need to do an arrow function. And we need to get in here, we need to say result.imdb ID. So we need to actually get that ID and pass it through to this. So what I did was right before, it's just, everything I did was right, it's just it didn't actually work. So now, Batman, hit enter, we click it, and there we go. That is, Jesus, that was such a ball ache. So now we have Batman Begins, 2005 it was made or released, and rating 8.2, not bad. After training with his mentor, Batman begins his fight to free crime-ridden Gotham City from corruption. And we're going to close that, and perfect. That is how you make a movie database app or movie information app like IMDb in React. Obviously not as nowhere near as fast as IMDb, but maybe in the future, or if someone wants to go and make something as as complex as IMDb, go right ahead. So thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you learned something new. If you did, don't forget to leave the thumbs up button. If you want to see more of this, and don't forget to subscribe, especially if you're new around here, because if you're new around here, you want to know as soon as we go live, so hit that notification bell. So guys, without further ado, thanks for watching, and
always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's.